I'm here with Nakul Chawla from Chawla Art Gallery. It's great to have you back on the show. We're now looking at some still life by Somnath Hore. Nakul, could you please explain the work to us?
So this is the canvas I was mentioning earlier. It's from the 1950s where I acquired this work recently, and the collector originally bought it from Akar Prakar. Somnath is mainly known for his sculptures, and when I came across this work, it was one of the very, very few canvases I've seen of his. I've only seen probably under 5 works on canvas by his, mainly at museums. So I absolutely fell in love with it, and I wish I could hold on to it. But as I mentioned earlier, it hurts me to let it go, but it's going to a very, very important collection. So yeah, I hope you enjoy it as much as I did.
Besides the rarity of the work, does anything else attract you towards it?
I guess the subject as well. Still life being a very universal subject where all international galleries have also their own versions of still life, be it Souza, be it even Hussain, Sabawala, any top Indian modernist, and not only it's on a global, it's a subject that all global artists also, attempt to do and have their own interpretation of.
So you enjoy his version of the still
Correct.
life?
It's his own unique style of a still life, and it's obviously a very early work.
Two works that have caught the attention of many of the viewers at Chawla Art Gallery have been these two Razas. Nakul, could you please explain the works to us?
So this particular one is a white on white series he did. He did an exhibition back in the early 2000s. This work is titled Peace. It's branched out of his Shanti Bindu series, and again, it's very different to his normal colorful Bindus and his more decorative works, which he did in the latter part of his career. Come to the smaller watercolor, which is from his formative years. This particular one is from the 40s, and it's a landscape, ideally, I would like to say, from Kashmir. Did a few of them back in the day. He also did landscapes of Bombay in the 40s. So again, it's extremely rare and very different to what he branched out eventually to do.
Back to the first work, because in the later stages, Raza used a lot of vivid colors, but this actually has an absence of that. What do you think Raza is trying to comment on?
I think it's the simplicity of just the Bindu, which he's trying to highlight in his white and white series, and it obviously has a very peaceful effect on the collector when they're hanging it in their home. It goes in any home, and it's different to his decorative works because he technically started doing Bindus in the late 80s, and then from the 90s and 2000s.
And which year is this from?
This would be 2000.
2000. Okay.
If we come back to the early landscape, so Raza in the 40s was doing mainly watercolors and landscapes, as I mentioned, of Kashmir and Bombay. From the 40s to the 50s is where he did a lot of landscapes as well, on canvas, on paper, and those are, again, extremely hard to come by, but they were a little more defined. And he did a lot of churches. He was inspired then by Western culture. Then in the 60s, you can see a lot of abstraction coming into his work. So even in the 70s, he was mainly doing abstraction. In the 80s, the transition period, you can see him going from abstraction to his Bindu. The birth of the Bindu was in the 80s. Thereafter, you come to his more decorative Bindus in the 90s and 2000s.
So this work is celebrated because of its experimental nature,
Exactly.
whereas I was finding who he was.
Exactly.
Okay. Thank you very much, Nakul.
Thanks.